Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Tamelia B. And I still have no clue what I was looking for. I just had to show you guys that. But now I'm taking the time to smooth out my brows as much as possible. I also discovered that I like the laminated brow look over just brushing them in the direction that they're in. So I always try to use something to hold them in place for a laminated look. And when I say I've used everything but the kitchen sink. One time I even used Got to Be gel in a black bottle. And this particular time, I think I'm using some even spray in the red can, but it didn't really hold how I wanted to. And I do my own brows, so they're not in any form perfect at all because I always draw them. And I don't really care what they look like as long as they're clean in the arch part. I do highly recommend having something to hold your brows in place. For me in particular, I did not like the even spray. Once again, I'm taking the time to draw my arch first on both brows instead of starting with the bottom. And I keep mentioning how I didn't like the even spray, but on this day, I do remember receiving so many compliments on my brows, so I may have to try it again. The hold just wasn't as firm as I thought it would be. Once I have my brows to the height that I would like for my arch to sit, I go in and I fill in the bottom, going outward towards my ear. I don't go down towards my mouth, but more of a outward tail. As you can see me doing right here is like a rooftop, if that makes sense. And I know you all may ask what pencil I'm using. I'm using a regular black-brown pencil from my local beauty supply store. If you have one near you, just make sure you get the color black-brown. I do also use a jet black pencil as well to fill in my tail. As you can see me doing here, I'm just taking the jet black, starting at my arch and working my way towards the tail to fill it in. For an ombre look, I'm not heavy-handed at all because I don't want my eyebrow to turn out black. However, I do recommend taking your time and looking back and forth to see what's working and what's not. Compare them to each other. That's how you get them to their closest. Most people say they want their eyebrows to be cousins and not twins, or sisters and not twins. This is how you get them to look very, 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 very much alike. You look back and forth at each brow, compare them to each other, see which one you like over the other, and try to get the other one to be a duplicate. Once I'm done using my black pencil, I take the time to blend out the harsh line that I have in the front of my brow. That's going at a downward angle because I want my arch to be the highlight of the brow. I don't have much of an arch in my natural brows, so I take the time to give myself a more dramatic arch when drawing them. So when it's time to conceal, I always start at the arch. The arch is the highlight of my brow. In particular, I'm not sure if you would like a high arch. I know some people have their own styles of how they do things, but I start in the arch and I work my way to the tail because I want most of the product to be at the center and at the end because it's easier to blend out over having a lot of product at the front. You kind of want to use the product that you already have left on the brush to just fix the front of the brow. So as I said before, take your time, get the arch, compare the two to each other, see what you like and what you don't like, and make those adjustments. Just wanted to step back in to let you guys know what I'm doing here. I am being very careful while concealing the front of my brow to not bring it up. I am bringing the front of my brow downward to my nose so that I can have the illusion of an arch, because I do not have a high arch in my natural brows. So I'm going to take the same thing that I did to my first brow and do it to the other one. I am once again starting in the center, working my way to the end before doing the front. Again, I'm going to take the time to examine my brows, see which one I like, and what I can do to get them to be as similar as possible. So now that I'm doing the top of my brows, I'm going to keep the same thing in mind that I had while concealing the bottom. I want the front of my brow to be facing my nose and the arch to be higher up in the sky. So what I'm doing is only doing from my nose to my arch. So if I can get those two to be the same height, I can definitely get the tails to match. So that's something you want to keep in mind. And once you see them kind of start to look like bird wings, you are definitely on the right track. The next major step after that is blending. And if you blend and blend and blend, I promise you in the end, they will not look like bird wings. I went through a really horrible halo effect on my brows. That was a really bad error for me when I first started doing my brows. So I've learned to do the top of my brows mixed with my foundation color, so that when I blend everything out, my entire brow or my entire forehead is not 3 shades lighter than I am. The purpose of using foundation or concealer that is your regular skin tone on the tail is to tone down the halo effect. No one wants to walk around with eyebrows that are already unrealistic. I'm sure people know when someone has drawn their eyebrows, but you don't want it to be unblended. This helps to blend if you don't wear foundation. The biggest mistake I see most people make when doing their brows is using a really dense brush. A dense brush is a brush that's compacted together and is mainly used for eyeshadow. You want to go ahead and take a brush that's really fluffy, and it can blend out those harsh edges more fluffier than it is compacted together, and you will get great results when blending. The size of the fluffy brush does matter, because you don't want it to be, for instance, a blush brush. That wouldn't really help. I will post a link for this brush down in the description box. It is a Real Technique brush, and it does an awesome job of blending out my concealer for my brows and for my under eye. Once everything is blended into your skin, don't forget to go down the center of your brows and continue to lighten up the front with the brush if needed. You don't want a unibrow and you don't want really harsh, dark brows at the front. These brows are in fact enough for me. They're even enough for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply some more black into my brows just to sharpen up what I've already concealed. And I'm going to continue to blend whatever I see to get the smoothest brow possible. This is actually the end of the brow tutorial. I have did everything there was to do. Blending is always the last step. I'm taking a brown powder that's just a little bit darker than I am to continue to give my brows that extra high arch. So I'm just gonna put a little in between my brow and my nose bone so that the concealer can pop a little more. And I'm going to do that to my second brow as well, just in case some of the concealer sits on top of my skin throughout the day. I don't want my brows to be unblended. So this method also helps be very light handed about it, and you will have the perfect brow. I also want to thank you guys for coming back for another tutorial. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to see more videos. Thank you.